Have you ever wondered why we suffer? Why, if God loves us, does He allow trials to touch our lives? The story of Job offers profound insights into the nature of suffering, faith, and trust. It is a story that has resonated with countless generations, showing us that even in the darkest moments, God has a plan beyond our understanding. Job was a righteous man living in the land of Uz, a prosperous region in the ancient world. Job 1 verse 1 describes him as blameless and upright. He feared God and shunned evil. Job was highly respected and blessed in many ways. He had a large family, vast herds of animals, and a peaceful life. His wealth was evident in his flocks of sheep, camels, and oxen, and his family enjoyed a life of comfort. But Job was more than just prosperous. He was devout. His love for God was not limited to his own faithfulness, but extended to his family. Job regularly offered sacrifices on behalf of his children just in case they had sinned. His life was a picture of obedience, devotion, and divine favor. Yet, like many of us, Job was about to face something he never imagined, a test that would shake the very foundation of his life. And this test begins not on earth, but in the heavenly realms. In the heavenly realms, a remarkable scene unfolds. Job 1:6-12 describes a gathering where the sons of God, angelic beings, present themselves before the Lord. Among them is Satan, the accuser, whose very name means adversary. Satan approaches God with a challenge, questioning the sincerity of Job's devotion. Does Job fear God for nothing? Satan asks. You have blessed the work of his hands, and his possessions have increased in the land. Job 1:9-10. Satan's accusation is clear. Job only serves God because of the blessings he has received. His faith, Satan suggests, is conditional. Satan argues that if Job's prosperity were taken away, his devotion would crumble, and he would curse God. Satan believes that Job's faith is tied to his circumstances, not to his relationship with the Creator. In response, God allows Satan to test Job. But there is a limitation. Satan must not harm Job himself. God says, "Very well, everything he has is in your power, but on the man himself do not lay a finger." Job 1:12. And so, Satan departs to carry out his plans. This moment in the heavens sets the stage for one of the greatest tests of faith recorded in the Bible. It reminds us of a sobering truth. Sometimes the trials we face are not about punishment or wrongdoing, but about testing and refining our faith. Job had no idea that his faith was being challenged in the spiritual realm. He was living his life, serving God, and caring for his family, unaware that a storm was about to descend upon him. And the storm does come, swiftly and mercilessly. In a single day, Job loses everything. First, raiders steal his oxen and donkeys, and a fire falls from heaven, consuming his sheep and servants. More messengers arrive with more devastating news. Chaldean raiders have taken Job's camels, and then the final blow. A mighty wind strikes the house where Job's children were feasting, and the house collapses, killing them all. Job 1:13-19. In moments, Job's world is turned upside down. His wealth is gone, his livelihood destroyed, and his children, his beloved children, are dead. The depth of his grief is unimaginable. Job, once surrounded by joy and abundance, now stands amidst the ruins of his life. And yet, in this moment of unspeakable loss, Job does something truly remarkable. Instead of cursing God, Job worships. Job 1:20-21 tells us, Then Job arose, tore his robe, and shaved his head, and he fell to the ground and worshipped. And he said, The Lord gave, and the Lord has taken away. Blessed be the name of the Lord. In the face of utter devastation, Job acknowledges God's sovereignty. His faith, though tested, remains firm. Job's response to suffering challenges us deeply. How do we respond when our world falls apart? Do we turn to God in trust, or do we allow bitterness to take root? But Job's suffering is far from over. Satan, having failed to make Job curse God, approaches God again, this time with a new plan. In Job 2:4, Satan claims, "Skin for skin. A man will give all he has for his own life." Satan believes that if Job's health is taken, his faith will finally break. Once again, God allows Satan to test Job, but this time Satan is permitted to harm Job's body, though his life must be spared. And so, Satan afflicts Job with painful sores, from the soles of his feet to the crown of his head. Job 2 verse 7 paints a heartbreaking picture of a man brought low. Job, once a prosperous, healthy man, now sits in the ashes, scraping his sores with broken pottery. His physical agony mirrors the emotional torment he feels over the loss of his children and his life's work. Even in his misery, Job refuses to curse God. When his wife, overwhelmed by grief and hopelessness, urges him to give up, "Do you still hold fast to your integrity? Curse God and die." Job responds with surprising strength. "Shall we accept good from God and not trouble?" Job 2, 9, 10. Here we see the depth of Job's faith. He acknowledges that God is sovereign over all, not just the blessings, but also the trials. Job understands a truth that many struggle with. Faith in God is not dependent on our circumstances. True faith trusts God even when the blessings are taken away. As Job sits in his suffering, 3 of his friends, Eliphaz, Bildad, and Zophar, come to visit him. At first they sit with him in silence, sharing in his grief. But when they finally speak, it is not comfort they offer. Instead, they begin to accuse Job, suggesting that he must have sinned to deserve such punishment. Eliphaz tells Job, "Consider now, who, being innocent, has ever perished? Where were the upright ever destroyed?" In their minds, Job's suffering must be the result of some hidden sin. They believe that God's justice means the righteous are always rewarded and the wicked are always punished. But Job knows that he has done nothing to deserve this. He cries out in frustration, asking why God has allowed such suffering to befall him. Job 6:10 captures his despair. "Oh, that I might have my request, that God would grant what I hope for, that God would be willing to crush me, to let loose his hand and cut off my life." After Job's long lament and his friends' accusations, something extraordinary happens. God speaks. But God does not answer Job's questions directly. Instead, he speaks to Job out of a whirlwind, revealing his power and the mysteries of creation. In Job 38:4, God asks, "Where were you when I laid the earth's foundation? Tell me if you understand." Through a series of questions, God reminds Job that his wisdom and understanding are far beyond human comprehension. God's response is not to explain the reasons for Job's suffering, but to remind him of the vastness of God's creation and the limitations of human knowledge. In this encounter, Job is humbled. He realizes that he has questioned things too great for him to understand. Job, in awe of God's greatness, repents for his questioning. In Job 42:3, he acknowledges, "Surely I spoke of things I did not understand, things too wonderful for me to know." And in his mercy, God restores Job's fortunes. Job 42:12 tells us, "The Lord blessed the latter part of Job's life more than the former." Job is blessed with twice the wealth he had before, and once again, he is given 7 sons and 3 daughters. His health is restored, his family is renewed, and his life is filled once again with joy and abundance. Through it all, Job's faith remained, and he learned to trust in God's wisdom, even when life did not make sense. Job's story is a reminder that suffering is not always a punishment, nor is it something we can fully understand. God's ways are higher than our ways, and his plans are beyond our comprehension. But what we do know is that God is faithful, and he is with us in our trials. Through Job's suffering, he gained a deeper understanding of God's sovereignty and love. When we face trials of our own, let us remember Job's unwavering faith and trust in God, knowing that no matter what we go through, God is working for our good. As Job learned, sometimes the greatest blessings come after the greatest trials.
If you like our content, please consider subscribing. Click the like button and the bell icon if you want to know when we post a new video. Stay blessed, and thank you for watching.